Hey guys, what's up? We are in beautiful, sunny Annapolis, Maryland, which is like the home of sailing in North America. There must be at least 1,000 sailboats within a 3-mile radius of us. It's insane. Mass as far as the eye can see. A lot of liveaboards, a lot of cruisers. So we thought, what better place to actually do an episode about the highs and the lows of cruising. One of our favorite parts of this lifestyle is when days like today happen, where we're chilling, it's sunny, it's warm, we're reading books, we have nothing we have to do today, we have nowhere we have to be today. It's perfect.
Another one of the highs is the people. We have met a few other couples. I actually met a younger couple from Quebec City. Spent some time with them, getting to know them and their kids. Fantastic people. Hi guys. And we continue to see Adventures Awaits and Ungava and Balaki. We had some beers with them last night. Still just love hanging out with those guys and just people passing by. I love it. Just everybody's so friendly, so great. Love it. Hate to say it, but one of the negatives is also the people. We still do our research and whatnot online when we can for a new project or what have you, and still getting those, older armchair cruisers giving not so positive feedback, and it's kind of discouraging. So Tim took it upon himself to create a Facebook page for younger folk. It's not so much the age itself, the number. It's just younger-minded spirits, I suppose. I don't know. But Young People Cruising on Facebook. Check it out. Send us a request if you want to join, and talk to you there.
So we've been in Annapolis for I think about 2 weeks now, maybe a little over 1 week. We got some boat work done. We installed the windlass, which is super awesome because we've been hand bombing that big chain all the time. We waited on installing the windlass because we didn't have any windlass chain, but we went to Bacon Marine a few days ago. We walked up there. We got a backpack full of stuff, a bunch of parts that we needed. We've been to West Marine, we've been to Fawcett's, but Bacon had our chain. So they actually delivered it to us and they helped us put it in our dinghy, and we were able to actually get our ground tackle all figured out. So Annapolis is pretty sweet. One of the best things about it, and one of the super highs about it, which kind of fits with the theme of this episode, is that there are boat stores everywhere. Everywhere. Anything you could possibly want except our hatch seal. But pretty much they got you covered. Honey.
What's up?
We're doing an episode on the highs and lows of cruising.
Highs and lows.
What's the thing you hate the most?
The leaks.
The leaks.
The leaks.
Yeah.
Every time it rains.
Every time it rains.
Raining and raining and raining. The leaks.
We got some old boat problems.
Yes.
We just rebedded this rail. You can actually see I had to drill out all the little wood bungs. But anyway, it's sandwiched. There's a rail in here and a rail outside, and they bolt together. And that has been leaking since we got the boat. But more so here. Yeah, typically. And this is where we sleep, right? So this is our bed. So, that's been leaking for a long time. Way more now that we're here for whatever reason. Like, it's gotten worse.
Yes.
So we pulled the handrails off. We over-drilled, used an Allen key in the drill to router out all the core, and then injected with a syringe. Injected thickened epoxy into every one of the holes, so it's like quite big. And then re-drilled, put it all back together with butyl tape under every point. So it rained after that, and it didn't leak. Yay. So that's pretty sweet. One of the problems with this boat and its leaks is there's a plastic liner inside the whole boat. So anywhere water gets into any fitting, it goes down the liner and it comes out in just weird places like the light. The light will be dripping, or the window will be dripping, but the window's not actually what's leaking. It's just water in the liner. It's so hard to figure out what's actually leaking. So we're in a lot better shape now.
Me, my turn.
Your turn? Okay.
Also, the chain plates on my Lanta. Yeah. We needed a bucket on the starboard side, and we can't fit a bucket in there. So we rebed the deck plates, I suppose they're called. and nothing. They're dry, like bone dry. I'm so excited. Small feet.
Butyl tape for the win. Let me show you the head. We haven't addressed any of the leaks in the head yet. And this is kind of scary. So we have a funnel duct taped to the wall, and it runs to the sink. And then we have another funnel that catches the water as it comes through the hatch, because the hatch is broken and we need to find a replacement hatch. So that's our head right now. It just tubes running in funnels taped. It's really sad.
Fingers crossed for the boat show to find a hatch. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I guess one of the perks of being in Annapolis is the sailboat show is in 2 weeks or something. Our friend Jay's coming to visit us right at the sailboat show. Anyway, at the Annapolis sailboat show, there's a lot of swap meet kind of things where you can buy stuff used, and we're on sort of a used budget. So if we can find a hatch that even remotely fits that opening, we're gonna replace that bad boy. Whew.
Another one of my favorite things about Annapolis is window shopping. Every direction you look, there's a mast and a sailboat and more sailboats and another sailboat. Look. Masts everywhere. I love it. Another one of the highs of being a cruiser is the never-ending adventure. Everywhere we go, there's something new to see. We can go to all these new places, especially the fact that we're on a boat. It's not easy sometimes, but the nice thing about Annapolis is there's dinghy docks everywhere. So you can just pull up in your dinghy, tie it up, whatever, go for a walk into town, get lost, which I have done. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I love it. I love the endless adventure. It's just, every day is a new day. One of the lowest lows for me has been having to live my life without my family and friends, just like an earshot away. But at the same time, it's also a perk. It's given me the opportunity to become quite a bit more independent, and that's very important for the type of person that I am. And it's also important, I think, it's important to my friends and family back home that I do that too. And the fact that I'm following my dreams, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm doing it on my own terms. I mean, with Tim, but I think that's really important. So yeah.
Let's talk about one of the biggest highs and biggest lows of living on our boat in particular. As you can see behind me, we have the Nature's Head composting toilet. So we were able to get rid of our holding tank, all the hoses, all the plumbing, the through hull. This is a lot simpler. It's a lot more user friendly, and we don't need to pump out. Those are the highs. There's also very little smell from this toilet. Every boat I've ever been on that has a conventional pump toilet with a holding tank, there's always that sort of smell, and it never really goes away. So there's a lot of positives to the Nature's Head toilet, but there are some negatives as well. The liquids container has to be emptied almost every day. And when you're not out in the ocean, you have to go and find a toilet to dump it in. So that's something that's sort of restrictive. But where we are right now, there's lots of public restrooms, and we have the codes to most of the marinas and stuff here. So we're pretty good in that way. The solids container in the back has to be emptied about once a month, maybe every 5 weeks or so, with the two of us living on board full time. The downside, on top of that, is just recently we started to get these little flies, little drain bugs, or whatever you call them. They were a nuisance. The Nature's Head has a vent tube that goes up to the deck. I think it's an inch and a bit vent tube up to the deck, and there's a screen over it, and then a mushroom cap so that nothing can get in. But the little fan inside the toilet creates negative pressure by pumping air out that vent tube. Well, the little drain flies or something came through the screen. There's a little hole in it now, so we had to replace it. But they came in there and started living in the solids container in the toilet, which was terrible. Every time you open the toilet, they'd all come flying out, and it got bad over the course of 2 days. we were out at anchor, so we took the toilet apart, we dumped it into a garbage bag, which is actually really easy to do. And then we cleaned it as best as we could out at anchor. But we didn't have a pressure washer, we didn't have any chemicals, we didn't have anything that would really make that easy. So the bugs came back in like 2 days. And like the third day was yesterday, and they were really bad again. Like you couldn't even use the toilet anymore. There were just bugs everywhere, little flies just flying around. They don't bite you, and they don't come at humans very much, but it's just annoying and it's gross. So we stayed in a marina last night so that we could bring the toilet out on the dock after we washed it out and emptied it and everything, and used a garden hose to actually use pressure to spray every little nook and cranny inside the toilet to make sure that there weren't any more eggs from these little flies. And then we bought some spray. It's all we could find. It seems to work. It does kill them, so we just sort of spray it every once in a while. But if you know anything about these drain flies and how to kill them and how to make sure they don't get in your boat, please share, because it is so annoying. That's probably the second biggest annoyance on the boat right now.
On the note of missing family and friends back home, I do want to give a huge shout out to all of our patrons, most of which are friends and family. I want you guys to know that we love you, we miss you. Mom, Jamie, Courtney, Keegan, Mike, Vicky, everybody back home. Ma, hi Ma, love you. Ma, love you. We miss you guys. We love you guys, and just want you to know that. Another perk is getting in touch with my inner emotions or something like that. I don't know. I was always too busy back home doing, working, stitch bitch stuff and what have you, to really take the opportunity to get in touch with me and who I am and what I want and so on. There was always something holding me back. And being a cruiser has given me nothing but time to get in touch with all of that. So that's very important to me. I'm very happy that I have that opportunity, and it's amazing. I love it. So that's enough of the girly stuff. Okay, bye.
I can definitely second that one. Sailing in particular has very little noise, very little distraction. You spend a lot less time, like at home we would watch Netflix and surf the internet, but here there is no Netflix and there's very little internet. So you really do have to read books. Like I can read books cover to cover in one day now. It's insane. One of our favorite things about cruising, and this is probably my very, very favorite, is independence. We have really, really big ass solar panels, and it allows us to do pretty much everything that we want to do. We're running the desktop right now with the monitor, the computer, the speakers are on, the fridge is on, everything's on. We're still charging at like 8 amps right now, and the batteries are pretty much full. So complete independence was one of the reasons we took off and went cruising, so that we could live by our own terms. So if you're planning to outfit a boat right now, get the biggest solar panels you can possibly fit, and as many of them as you can. These are 275 watts a piece. We have 2 of them. They're made by Canadian Solar. So we've got 550 watts of solar, and I kind of wish we had more. We don't have any wind generator, and we'll probably end up with one at some point, because when it gets cloudy for like 3 or 4 days, you start getting into trouble with power. But if you're trying to outfit a boat, big panels. Oh. Hey guys. So this video is going to be a little bit shorter than most of our videos. And largely because we're having to leave pretty soon, because there's a guy just up Back Creek here that is selling a folding bike. So we rented a couple bikes yesterday, and we found it dramatically increases our range. So I wish we could buy 2 folding bikes, but they're kind of expensive. This one's on Craigslist for $100, so we're gonna go take a look at it, and if it's operational, that will increase the range one of us has to get to a store or get to wherever we need to go by a lot.
I could just piggyback me.
Could piggyback her. Put some pegs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we're finding walking our range is like at most like 2 miles maybe. Maybe
pushing it.
Maybe we're just being babies, but when you go get groceries, 2 miles is a long way to haul 60 pounds of stuff.
Yeah,
so anyway, a bike would be nice. But that's it. That's episode 25.
Yeah.
We're in Annapolis. Got friends coming next week. We got the boat show. The next episode is going to be probably all that stuff. So that'll be pretty sweet.
Super stoked.
Yeah.
Woo!
See you guys.